Okay, I guess that should be loaded already. I'm not sure whether I have to wait for the full signal. But all right, in any case. Okay, so now I made the, I'm just going to read through the English of most of this. Isn't the entire proclamation that we read, but it catches the main highlights. And it's Shabbat Ba'alotcha. It's after the Torah service. Somebody stood up and in the name of read this document that Rav Kook wrote, and also in the name of the circle of rabbis, Vad HaRabbanut. I think it's in the introduction, it has it that way. And in response to the whole debate that Balfour Committee was going through, if Judaism a nationality or just a religion, and they were leaning for various reasons to saying it's not a nationality because they were being pushed by that point of view. This statement came out into London, May 1917, and really into the world. We protest publicly against all who would divide the Jewish soul, against all who want to fragment the wondrous wholeness of Jews and Judaism. We only recognize a complete Yahadut, the perfection that Ata echad u'shimcha echad u'mika amcha Israel goy echad be'aretz, that the perfection of you are one and your name is one, and who was like your nation, Israel, one nation in the land, is indivisible. And so with the holy power of the wholeness of Judaism, we protest against all the traitors. We demand our complete claim. Yeah, that which we're claiming. This is what we're claiming. We have a demand. It's like a legal claim from all our brotherly friends, meaning all the other, even that doesn't have to be only the Jewish, the assimilated Jews, but it implies that, and from all cultured humanity. We're demanding this from all of humanity. That we demand, that which was stolen from us, must be returned to us completely. Our holy, precious land, full of splendor and wonders, must be returned to us completely, without any compromise, without false flattery. It must be returned completely. How astonishing it is in this wondrous time when the divine hand is appearing in such a wondrous way. We find people of such foolishness and whose hearts are so uncircumcised, so covered, that they would have the audacity to proclaim things that will reduce and weaken the great core of Jewish wholeness. So it's only a religion. It's not a nationality. We are now obligated, and we must clarify to all of humankind that is at war, to all warring humankind, what their obligation is toward us. We gave so much to humankind. We instilled the power of life. We gave life to ethics, into the human ethic our wondrous divine history was always the basis for the purest human spirit, Abraham and Sarah and Moses and what did the nations give us back so nicely for our contribution? They stole our land, they exiled us from it, they burnt it down, destroyed our holy temple. They slaughtered us with cruelty and accused us of all sorts of false claims, like we killed their Messiah, and we're this and this and this and that. And now, as we are in this point of history, we're apparently approaching the end of the war, and we dream of a future after the war that will bring a new life that is much better than ever before. It is incumbent upon us in this wondrous, extraordinary, holy time. It is our great obligation. Here he's saying to Israel, but not only saying this is in a sense the announcement. No, I guess this is the announcement to humankind. It's our great obligation to announce to all humankind that if they do not cleanse themselves from the murder and the theft that they caused us, they put the whole repair of the world in danger. It's when the nations of the world will repair this great and awful crime of stealing and murdering.
It's okay if I just ask a quick question, Rav. Sorry.
Sure.
So I was just hung up at work yesterday in some studies. This is 1917. He's giving a speech or writing, and is this in Eretz Israel?
This is in response to the discussion in the Balfour Committee.
Okay.
The Balfour Committee had started meeting like in maybe January or sometime before, and they got presentations from Chaim Weizmann and the Zionists, and they were favorable because they were also Protestant sort of biblicists.
Yeah, there was like the Christian Zionist movement then or something.
And then in like April, May, they got a presentation, the Balfour Committee, from some British members of parliament, two of them that were Jewish, as well as from the rich Jewish upper class of London, somebody from the Rothschild family, somebody from the various things, a presentation to the Balfour Committee that we are British citizens of Mosaic descent, and we have no claim on the land of Israel. That's past history. And that these people that are saying don't take the Zionists seriously. They're not, and they got a whole presentation. When they got that presentation from their social class, the Jewish social class, the idea sort of, they lost their enthusiasm for the Balfour Declaration. And then Rav Kook wrote this letter, which was read out loud in Yiddish in every synagogue in London and maybe more, which is hundreds, perhaps. And maybe, I don't know the exact number, but I think. And then that Saturday night, many people in the synagogues wrote letters to the Balfour Committee and quoting and saying that, no, of course, we are everything that this says. And so they got besieged. So they ended up passing the Balfour Declaration, though they softened the language a little. And it was a 6-month delay until they finally, in November, they passed it. And this was in May 1917. But this was read in all the synagogues in May 1917. So in this sense, it is also the main time that someone is speaking in the name of all of Israel to the nations of the world. And he's saying it is our obligation to announce to all of you, humankind, if you do not cleanse yourself from the murder and theft that you caused us, you put the whole repair of the world in danger. It's when the nations will repair this great and awful crime that they've done to Israel and help us to fully arrange our life and return to our land, when they will help us to establish our jurisdiction, will help us to renew our holy and everyday life, lives of spirit and matter, lives of strength and peace, then the shame of the world will be removed from human society. Our great hope is that our holy righteousness will be well recognized among humankind. Those that are part of the covenant and those that are not. Now, that's not exact, and that's as much as I have translated, but that's not exactly the end of the thing. But we read the end yesterday, so I don't, uh, let's see if it there. But, okay, so I want to go to what I have in front of me here, which is a few days later, Rav Kook wrote a letter to all the synagogues, I guess all the gabbis and whoever was running the synagogues. And it's in Yiddish. And here they gave, this is the Hebrew translation. And I'll read most of it in English or some, but this is the campaign that he continued after this letter made it to the ears of the Balfour Committee. He sent the following to the synagogues. Achenu ahuvim nichmadim. Our God, hold on, just see. All right, that was important. So here's the next follow-up. My beloved brothers, Anshe Havad HaChaverim, Anshe Havad VaChaverim Shel Batei Knesiot BeAnglia, the members of the committee and the members of the synagogues in England. Sha'a Kedosha Anu Chaim Achshav. We are living now in a holy hour. Gavoa vegadol mikoach havishatenu hu apela האלוהי המתראה בגלגולי התולדה האנושית. Very high and greater than our possibility of even being able to think about it is this divine wonder that is happening as the wheels of human history turn. Hagoeshet ke'ata kehemot yam. Now it's flooding like torrents of water or ocean. Everything's flowing. Ve'asher hu molech ita b'miflaotav, and that it is molich. It is leading now in its wonders the events of history. El hibanot amenu bebeit chayenu ha'atik v'hakadosh. It's leading now to the building of our nation in our homeland, our ancient and holy homeland. הממשלה האנגלית, the English government, מוכנה מצידה לתמוך במשאל הגדול, is ready from its side to support this great effort, this great request, this great effort, אבל היא זקוקה להוכחה נכונה על רצוננו הכללי. But the British government needs a very clear proof, an accurate proof of what our collective will is of the Jewish people. אנו רוצים בזה גלוי לגמרי. אנו רואים בזה, we see in this very clearly, that this is גילוי לגמרי, it's a complete revelation of הדרכים הנסתרים של יד השם, of this, the hidden mysterious ways of the hand of God, who's moving things to this point, that the British government is ready, and all they need to know is that it's our collective will. Hamin aleinu ala geula. This is the mysterious ways of God guiding us to geula. וזה מגדיל את חיובנו לשמור כל צד של המהלך. And this increases our obligation to protect every step of this process so that it goes forth smoothly and fully. So therefore, paragraph 2, אנו מבקשים כל אחינו המנהלים והחברים של בתי הכנסיות בכל מלכות אנגליה. We ask of all our brothers and sisters, the minhalim, the organizers and the membership of the synagogues in all of the Kingdom of England, לתת בזריזות מהירה, to give very quickly, with zealous quickness, et haskamatam, their agreement, el hatvi'ah et artzenu akdusha, to our claim for our holy land. He gave expression to it, this is a tvi'ah, this is a claim that I'm making to the world on behalf of the Jewish people. And now Rav Kook is asking that all the leadership of the synagogue and all the members of the synagogue quickly, zrizut meira, do this immediately, give their agreement that they agree with this claim for our holy land. ואשר אנו מבקשים מאת הממשלה האנגלית, and there we are asking from the English government, שהיא תעזור לנו, that it will help us, בדרישתנו לשוב אל ארצנו הקדושה, in our demand, in our seeking to return to our holy land, בתור Beit Amenu HaNitzchi, so that it is our eternal home for our people. He continues. אנו צריכים גם לתמוך את המנהלים של העניין הזה, and we also have to support the minhalim, the leaders, the directors of this effort, the ones that are responsible for it, בהשתדלויותיהם, in their efforts, in their attempts, להשיג את המטרה הקדושה, to bring about this holy goal, holy purpose. אנו מאירים עם זה, we are, I guess I'm not trying to read Meirim, we're awakening to this, כי גלוי לכל העולם, אנו צריכים לבאר, because we need to clarify publicly to the entire world. We have to make it known, clear to the entire world. כי שאיפתנו הוא לבנות את עמנו בארץ ישראל, that it is our aspiration to rebuild our nation in the land of Israel, על יסוד שני היסודות הראשיים של רוח עמנו, on the basis of the two main foundations of the spirit of our people, which is האידיאה הלאומית, the national ideal, והדתית, and the spiritual, religious, במרום שייכותם ההדדית, in their highest mutual interrelationship. We have to bring about, understand that what an effort is here. Okay, here's where dati le'umi. Maybe this is where they got the idea ha'le'umit hadatit. Ve'birur gamur anu betuchim. We're very clearly, we are confident, we are certain, ki hatnuah shel nishmat amenu, that this movement of the soul of our nation, the ha'atid ha'meushar, and our happy future, shel keshura be'eretz Yisrael, in its connection to the land of Israel, banui, is based al shaychut hadadiyutam shel shnei hayesodot haelu, is based on the mutuality and the interrelationship of these two foundations, hadati, the haleumi, the dati and the leumi. Ki ha'echad mihem niten lechavero romemut oz והאידאליות, כי האחד מהם, I guess he says the one who makes one of these, it gives the person who does that, רוממות עוז ואידאליות, very high level strength, power, and idealism. It's a national power and divine idealism. ואנו בטוחים כי בתי הכנסת יבהירו בהחלטתם את המשאל הברור הזה. And we are confident that all the synagogues will make clear בהחלטתם, they'll make this clear, יבהירו בהחלטתם את המשאל הברור הזה. They'll make it clear that this is like taking a poll, a census, or a poll of the opinion of the community that will make it clear that the entire community supports what the rabbis and what Rav Kook wrote in the name of all the rabbis. Now it's all the citizens of all the Jews. And again, it was a way of going around the rich social Jewish class who were opposed to this, who were afraid of this. They thought they'd lose their power if Israel becomes the focus, if Zionism. So that this was a way of going around them and speaking directly to the people. And let's keep so. And he keeps he keeps going with his instructions. So he continues, כדי להוציא לפועל את ההתאמה של הידיעה הלאומית והדתית ביחד, in order to bring into action, into actuality, the harmonization of the national idea and the religious idea together, מוכרח להיווסד בית דין וועד הרבנים. We have to establish a beit din, I guess a board of rabbis, or a vada rabbanim, some sort of circle of rabbis, ke'en Sanhedrin, like a type of Sanhedrin, to speak for the people, or to the people, lefi hayacholet hashreid, as much as is possible. Not like a formal Sanhedrin, but let's get our voices together. שיתקיים מרבנים בני simchas, that'll be established by rabbis who are qualified, גדולים, who have smicha, bnei smicha, גדולים בתורה, יראה וחכמה, who are great in knowledge of Torah and יראה and חכמה, שיהיה מוכר באופן גלוי חוקי, that it'll be known, recognized in a revealed legal matter, להחזיק את ענייני הקודש ולסדר התחברות נכונה, that this group, they will have the jurisdiction to strengthen the holy matters and to organize the proper hitchabrut, joining together between העניינים הדתיים והלאומיים, between the religious and the national matters, שהם בחיי תולדותינו בכל כישורים מאוד ביחד, that they are in the life of our history and they're very, very much together, the nation of Israel and the Torah of Israel, the God of Israel. בתפיסה הנכונה של נשמת עמנו, with the proper understanding of the soul of our people, אשר הלאומיות והדעתיות, in which our nationalism and our religiosity מאוחדות בה בתוכן אחד, are united in as one. In doing that, נשיג את מטרתנו הרוממה ביותר. We will reach our highest goal, ושמו הגדול של מלך ישראל, and the great name of the King of Israel, וגואלו, and his Redeemer, יופיע על תנועתנו, will manifest on our movement, on this national religious movement that we are, להדריכנו, to give us guidance, בדרך הצלחה ושלום, in a way of success and a way of shalom. And then, kol ha'amim, all the nations of the world, yavinu, they'll understand, להוקיר, את הערך הגדול של תחייתנו הנפלאה החדשה. They'll really treasure the great value of our wondrous new rebirth, ושיבתנו אל חיינו העתיקים הנהדרים, and our return to our ancient and wondrous life, על ארצנו העתיקה הקדושה, to our holy ancient land, שהיא קשורה, which is connected עם כל הידיעות הנעלות והאציליות ביותר, that is connected to our holy land and our return to our holy land, which is connected to the most elevated, refined, idealistic ideals of making a world, lo yisad goy al goy cherev, lo yilmedu od milchama, and all that stuff, the world will come to understand that our rebirth and our return to our ancient and holy way in our ancient holy land is connected with the highest ideal, bringing the highest ideals into the world. שהן נאחות ונחשבות מאת האנשים הנעלים והטובים שבעולם. That somehow it'll bring forth the best from people, and the highest people will come forth, and the good people will join together. And therefore, and I guess he says by the synagogues, everybody making these statements, it'll bring forth the people from the world that can respond to this. So therefore, he now instructions. Anu mevakshim, we ask, ki achratot ha'abaot, that the following statements or decisions, he's going to have a little list now, that the following decisions will be decided and yitkablu, and accepted, received immediately in all the synagogues, v'yishlochu miyad al pi aktovet haba, and send this announcement to this address, English Zionist Federation, 79 Lindhall Street. And what are the statements that he wants all the synagogues to make? Here they are. There's 4 of them. Anachnu, Havad HaChaverim shel Batei HaKnesset shelanu, we, the committee and the members of our synagogue, Matzhirim, we announce, She'anu Dorshim, that we demand, Umekavim, and hope for Chazarat HaHibanot shel Eretz Yisrael, the return of the rebuilding of the land of Israel, Betor Beit Chayei Ha'am, as a home, of a living home for the people of Israel, Be'ad Umatenu HaIsraelit, for our Israelite nation people, ואנו מבקשים את ממשלת האנגלית לעזור לנו להשיג את מטרתנו. And we are asking the English government to help us to reach our goal. 2. אנו מוכנים לתמוך את המנהלים של המשימה הקדושת הזאת ברוח ישראל. We are prepared to support and help the ones who are involved in this holy effort in the spirit of Israel, ולעזור להם להוציא לפועל משימתם, and help them to manifest in their goals, their tasks, to bring this about. 3. Gimel, Shivatenu B'tor Am Yisrael, our return, B'tor Am, as a people, LeEretz Yisrael, to the land of Israel, Meyusedet ala Itachdut, is established, is founded on the unity, Shel HaTochen HaLe'umi Ve'Hadat Shel Amenu. It's on the unification of our national identity and the religion of our people. And Dalet, Anu Dorshim et HaIshur Shel Vad HaRabbanim, and we are demanding, calling for the agreement, the affirmation of the Committee of Rabbis, כדי להחזיק כל העניינים הדתיים, in order to strengthen all the religious matters, ולקשר על פי רוח ישראל, and to make them connect in a proper way, according to the Ruach of Israel, the proper harmony with the Inyanim HaDatiyim VaLe'umim, in the religious and national matters, B'kol makom shehem ba'im b'mega yachad, wherever they are in a situation together, when we need that. So we're asking to the rabbis to make it happen in the proper harmony, not anything other than that. And therefore, the last line, bekavod, with honor v'yakar v'tikva, with hope, legeula shlema. B'mehera b'yameinu b'karov, to complete geula quickly in our days, quickly. And here, look at this note. We want to point out that these decisions above have to be sent no later than Sunday, the 21st of October, 1917, to the address above. And therefore we ask that if you're not able to read these in a special meeting on Sunday, if you can't bring your synagogue together and come to an agreement to pass this on Sunday, יתקבלו ההחלטות בהתאספות לתפילה של שבת. Come to these, reach these decisions when you come together for the tefillah of Shabbat. If you can't do it on Sunday, then do it the Shabbat when everybody, in every case, comes together. And yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think is his real purpose in writing this? Who is his?
What happened was that the Balfour Committee got overwhelmed with all of these.
No, I disagree.
Statements.
I disagree.
Well, but it did come out.
There wasn't a Balfour Committee. There was just the British cabinet, and they had made up their mind. Herbert Samuel had written a memorandum in 1915 to Asquith saying that Britain should control Palestine after we kick the Turks out, and that we should make a homeland for the Jews.
I know. But what I read about the story, and I tried to find as much as I can, was that was all yes, but then in May 1917, the assimilated Jews stopped the committee from making that declaration, and this was the response to it.
I really disagree. The point was that the British.
I don't disagree with me. I'm just telling you what I read in the things. We have to look at the things.
With this view.
Rav Kook was obviously moved. Hold on, Rav Kook was obviously moved to initiate this, and my understanding is they got a lot of mail. It did happen. People.
But I'm saying that I think his purpose was primarily to activate and arouse the hearts and souls of British Jewry about what a monumental thing was about to happen. And he wanted to get them on side to consider coming to Eretz Israel. Unfortunately, the Aliyah
so I don't think it's an either or. I think for sure that's.
I just like to give you something in perspective, though. There were 3.5 million Jews in Russia who were really they were the ones most in need of coming. And the tragedy was, with the hand of God, look, in the 30th of October of the month you're talking about, the British army had come from Egypt and they won the Battle of Beersheba. They were already on their way in October to take over Palestine. On the 30th of October, they won the Battle of Beersheba, largely due to the Australian troops there on horses. It was the last horse charge of a battle, I think, in history. And then the Balfour Declaration was issued 3 days later on November the 2nd. The letter was sent to Lord Rothschild. I worked at the Zionist Federation. And then in December the 9th, Allenby had reached Jerusalem and the Turks surrendered. And the Times did publish the news that the Balfour Declaration had been issued, but it was never publicized in the Middle East. The papers in the Middle East did not publicize this until 1920 because they were scared of Arab response to this. But
they were scared of whose response?
The Arabs living in the area. They were concerned that they would riot when they heard about the response. So they withheld publicizing the British policy of making a homeland for the Jews until 1920. My point is that I'm sure it had some impact, but I feel that his screaming out to the Jewish people. One last thing was the real tragedy was that in the week that the Balfour Declaration was issued, which would have allowed for a homeland for the Jews, which would have allowed for the 6 million Jews from Russia and Poland to come to Israel, the Russian Revolution happened in that week. And from that moment, the doors of Russia
was the same week as the Balfour Declaration came out?
Yeah. At the end of that week, the way that God works is amazing. At the end of that week, the Russian Revolution happened and the communists refused. They made a prison of the USSR and they couldn't get out for 70 more years. What a tragedy that was.
So had the Balfour Declaration been declared, let's say, in May, would that have made it something
they didn't
possible for something else?
I don't think they didn't want to actually announce it until they were at the point of invading Palestine.
So that's also part of it, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And
well, I always thought,
the Prime Minister, Lloyd George, was a real Zionist. He'd made his mind up. He really wanted this to get through. There was a lot of objections, as you said, from Jewish cabinet members.
And he was because of spiritual, religious?
Yeah, he was a member of this nonconformist American church that part of their theology was that the whole unfolding of history as far as they saw it, depending on the Jews coming back to the Holy Lands. But he was very keen.
Yeah.
You know,
let me just open the door here, so if anybody tries to come in, they won't be outside. I'll come back in 30 seconds.
If that's true, is it likely that Rav Kook and he knew each other?
And who?
And Lord, what would?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that Kook had managed to get into. He'd only been in England 3 years, and at this point, 1 year. No, he was connected with a chief rabbi who was also pushing Joseph Hertz, who was also pushing the same agenda, but from a more restrained part. You see, this British establishment of Jews, who were mostly bankers and establishment figures, they were very concerned that they would lose their rights in England.
It happened before in history.
You know, and they say, oh, well, you know, you've got a home in Palestine, you can get out then. Right. So that's why this Herbert Samuel, who was a Zionist, his cousin, Edwin Montagu, and his brother, rather, his cousin called Louis Montagu, set up a Jewish organization called the Anti-Zionist League to specifically say they were like the English Nittarai Carter of the time.
Well, you have that today with these young people, these young liberals, that they said, we're not anti-Semites, we're anti-Zionists.
Exactly. And you have to
they're Jewish. You know,
you have to acknowledge that they have their position. You know, that you can't just deny their position. According to their logic, that's how they see the world.
Right. And then I think in America you had the same people. You had people who didn't want to rock the boat, but that was more severe in England because it was the Balfour Declaration and Britain had control. But I think you have that as a consciousness, like people are afraid to I don't want to upset the Christians too much, you know, because then we could get the Ku Klux Klan could start, you know, or anti-Semites will target us, or, you know, or they won't do business with us, like BDS, you know, the early
You know, my feeling is Rav Kook's teachings of this letter and the previous one are so valid for this time. It's almost as if I'm not sure how much impact it really had in his day, because there wasn't great aliyah from Britain. There's never been great aliyah from Britain, really. But the message of the combination of the nationalism and the spiritual aspect of Judaism combined, being an essential marriage, and a message of that to the Jews and the world now. I feel that these letters that we've been studying these last few days, they need to be broadcast to the world now. You know, that they're so, it's almost as if Rav Kook is shouting from that time to the world now.
Well, I just sent my son-in-law's mother is Israeli, very secular Israeli, and I sent her what Yitzhak read, sent us yesterday, and her reaction to Rav Kook was that he was not. Here's a woman who's Israel, and she thinks she knows who Rav Kook is, but her perception of Rav Kook was that he was supporting the Haredi position, that they don't go into the army and they don't go into, like what she's fighting today, like the with the Haredi world. And I said, no, Rav Kook today may have been the person who would have said, we have to defend. Some people have to be praying and some people have to defend. And it wouldn't be a blanket, no, if you're a Haredi.
Absolutely. He was
the Rav Kook people, the Rav Kook people make up. It's everybody in the Rav Kook world. Everybody goes to the army.
But my son-in-law's mother, whose nephew is in politics, who just testified in front of the Knesset, they're so secular, and so immediately say Rav Kook. She doesn't really know who Rav Kook was, but she thinks she does, because she perceives him as like Haredi. He's outside of the Zionist dream, secular society. So we have nothing, he's going to support those people who just want to sit around and let the army die for them while they pray.
It's a wrong perception, isn't it? He was the founder of the national religious movement.
So I have a discussion with her going now. I invited her to the class.
There's other stuff to share with her where he speaks about the holiness of secularism.
Right. Yeah, that would be great. If you could PM me that. That'd be great.
Yeah, young Israelis need to hear this message as well now. It's the secular Israelis.
Right. But her son just testified in front of the Knesset, criticizing the Haredi position and saying, I'm in, the reserves, and I've been there like X amount of months, and it's not fair.
Yeah,
I have a job, I have a family,
Yeah, but Rav Kook was criticizing the Haredi position as far as I understand it, because
no. No, there's no question. Tzvi Yehuda, especially. I mean, they're not. They're the what happened to the screen?
But it is in our history that we don't want to upset the ruling class that we're under too much.
A lot of it's in our parashot right now.
What is it?
A lot of it's in the parashot right now. Most Jews didn't leave Egypt. Many Jews were scared. They didn't like what they were seeing. They got used to the slave mentality. Happening in the Roman Empire, happening again with the Hellenization period. I mean, it's a constant theme in our history.
Because we're usually under a conqueror.
Yeah.
Our position is too precarious. We're such a small group.
Yeah, we get like a unique Stockholm syndrome that forms on a national level.
And and Israel and our brains are what are, it's like and our Torah, is our strength.
Yes, I have to phone you back. All right, we're going to sign off now because I have to organize here, and tomorrow Parshat Shavua, right?